Hello guys and welcome to my first tutorial. Today I'm going to talk about the Paris window. A lot of you guys liked it. I received a lot of great comments about it, so thank you for that. Some of you wanted the tutorial, so there it is. This tutorial is going to consist of two parts. The first is going to be a very quick breakdown of my scene, so everything about how I've made it with the grease pencil tool, my inspiration, and what you need to know before going into the workflow. Then second part is going to be a beginner-friendly tutorial. I'm going to take you through all the steps to make a grease pencil illustration with a simple scene and all the things you need to keep in mind to make sure that you achieve the look that you want without all the headaches that can come when you don't know all the basics about the grease pencil tool. So I'm going to take the time to explain everything that I did and why I did it. So let's begin. So first of all, this is my scene for the Paris window. You have the model of the window. On top of that, you have some grease pencil line. It's just the model that you convert into lines, and you have the stroke, the hand-painted stroke that you draw over on top of your model. So um, my inspiration for this project was some image that I just found on Pinterest, and I liked the look, especially for the lighting and the bloom and just the feeling of the scene. So I found this sketch about this artist. I don't really know. It's just some image that I found, and I took it on Photoshop and made a front view of this to make it easier for me to model that on Maya. So I modeled the the window on Maya first and imported it into Blender. So yeah, this was my inspiration. And of course, I did this line art. I converted the mesh into grease pencil, but you're not forced to do this technique. Like for my window, no, my door, sorry. I didn't do this. I just had the stroke on top uh, to to make the borders and everything because I liked it more and it was not rendering out like I wanted. Like if I just show you, you duplicate your object and you right click and convert to grease pencil. You're gonna end up with a line like this. First of all, it's just too thick for me, so I don't like it. You're gonna have the line art and the material. You don't need the material, so you just keep the line art. And then uh, you can change the opacity and everything. And you can go into the modifier and change the thickness. So I just decrease it so I can have just a thin line. But when you look at it, like you have this, and I didn't want that, so that's why I didn't use this technique for this project. So yeah, this is just that in my window, I found like it was interesting, especially for this parts. Like I didn't want to do this because it's a small detail and it's it's made like automatically with the conversion of the mesh into a grease pencil. So for this one, I found that it was useful. So yeah, this is why I made it. So with thickness, noise, and multiple stroke to add some organic feel about everything. So this is the beginner-friendly part. First of all, I'm using a Cintiq. It's a Wacom Cintiq 16. It's just a lot easier to do this work onto a Cintiq, so you can see the line you're drawing like it's on paper. It's just a lot easier, it's faster. You can do it with your mouse, but it's gonna take you some more time and you're going to have to do a lot more tweaking. But it's also doable, so we're going to recreate this simple scene just to show you the basics and how to achieve this look. So we're going to create a new scene. Don't save. So we have our basic cube. We can add already a plane, scale it up with S and drag it. You move your cube up above your plane with J and Z. You just make sure you put your cube sitting on top of your plane. You can focus on your cube with the period key on your numpad. So next we're going to go into render view, and we're going to go into cycle on GPU just because it's better. I prefer the view and the shading in cycles. So cycles GPU. We're going to enable the denoise, and now we're going to duplicate our cube, Control C, Control V, and we're going to convert. When you right click on the object, you're going to have this menu and you're going to convert into a grease pencil. It's going to put a cube with a line art that is sitting on every edge of the object. So when you go to the object data properties, we're going to have the line and the fill. You don't need the fill, so you can just disable. So now it just keeps the line, and we're going to go into the modifier tab and add a thickness modifier to make it thinner. So this is just up to you, depending on the look you're going for. So now adding noise to make it a little more organic is going to shift from the object just going away. So just keep it like at the borders. Just the 0.03 is good. You can change the thickness. It's going with the noise. It's going to, depending of the offsets, it's going to keep some part thick and make some others thinner. And you can change the noise scale too. So yeah, depending on the look you're going for. So this part is good. You just have your grease pencil, and now you're going to add a grease pencil stroke. So when you have your stroke, you just move it away from the cube. You don't need this, so you're going to go into edit mode with tab. You're going to press A to select every single point of this stroke, and X, and click on point to delete the points. Getting out of edit mode, now you have your stroke, and you can, if you go to draw, you can draw onto something, but this is not drawing on your surface. So before that, you have to click on origin and change for surface. And you're going to have this offset. If you keep it like that, just keep in mind when you're drawing, it depends on distance. This is going to be away from your cube. And if you're a lot more far, like this. Yeah, it's going way off into the distance. So you have to, when you put on surface, you have to go in and make sure that the offset is on 0, and it's for every new stroke that you have. Every time you add a stroke, just go to surface and 0 offset and make sure it's good, or else you're going to end up with a stroke that is away from your cube, and you don't want that. So you can erase with the erase tool, and just before drawing on the object, go back to your cube and add a modifier. It's solidify, and you keep the surface, the thickness at this value, and you just put the offset at 1, so you have something to draw on, because I'm going to show you. And when you draw with your stroke, just on your object, without the thickness, is going to clip through the object, and for the render it's not good. So you just go back into object mode, select your cube, and add the thickness. And now when you're going back to draw mode and drawing on the object, it's going to clip through the object still, but when you're getting out of that and you disabling it, it's just sitting on the object and not clipping through. And just make sure when you draw, you have this enable to after disable it for the render, and make sure the line is clean on the object. So just go back to the stroke and draw mode. Now I'm going to change the pencil. I like the throw one because it makes me feel like it's like Chinese ink. So yeah, you just draw on top of the cube. You have the eraser to delete what you've done. Just yeah, when you erase and you have an object that's just behind your thing, it's going to delete also this. So it's just the Blender is taking this view, like there is nothing in between those lines. So just be aware of that when you're erasing some lines. It's gonna erase everything that's just back there. So after you have the line, you just left click, hold, and when you let go, it's going to stick in place, and you just click on like enter to make sure it's good. You have the polyline, same, click and hold, left click and hold. When you want to put your next point, you just click and go on like this, and you just click on enter to make it sit on the object. You have the arc, same thing, the curve, just like the arc, but you can move your points. And yeah, when you're going into an edge area, you're going to have those kind of thing, like the line is going to go away from the object because it's not going on any surface. And when you have another object, it's going to draw on the object and going to make those kind of line that you don't want. So just erase that, and you just do this, and that's gone. Same thing here, that's gone too. So yeah, yeah, I'm going to erase this. And now you have the cube. It's a rectangle, but if you want a perfect cube, you just hold shift, and it's going to make a perfect cube for you. Enter, and the circle, same thing, shift, perfect circle. And just keep in mind that it's like a projection. So depending on where you're looking from, uh, it's going to project your line and deform it, wrap it around the object. So if you want to make it a perfect circle, you're going to have to face perfectly your face, and this this way is good. So now that everything about this is done, you can change the radius also of the stroke and everything. So now it's up to you to draw whatever you want. So I'm going to speed up this part because it's just the drawing. I'm going to make maybe my logo and put some shading or something fun. Just draw whatever you want, and yeah, let's go. Just quickly, you can change the radius of your stroke for the drawing too, and the thinner this is, the better it's look. At least I think and I feel like this is better. Like this is going through the object, and when you get out of this and disable the thickness, it's just staying like that. I don't feel like this is pretty, but the thin lines are just saying, yeah, it's much cleaner. So I prefer the thin line. So just do as you want, depending of the style you're looking for. So now I finished doing the line art, and just something pretty useful. When you have your stroke, you can duplicate it and like create another that you can rotate to create those kind of cross shading. So this is pretty useful. And also when you have this, you can duplicate it with Control C, Control V, and move it to another face. When you have some face that just have the same surface, so you can just move it and have it go this way, and Control C, Control V, rotate. No, just this one, rotate on X and A90. I'm going to take this and G X, so put it just above the surface. And going back to this, you can disable. Okay, this is already disabled. So you can take this and just move it away from the object so you can see it. Yeah, just like that. And after this is just about the rendering. I'm going to change my face here into a new material. This one, sign, just like the window. And now for the rendering part, when you go F12 to render, yeah, just I'm going to change the number of samples, like 50 is good. Render. And now it's going to clip through the object. So you're going to have the object and it's going to look like you can see everything. So to avoid this, you're going to your layer and you're going to tick the Z pass. And now when you go back to render, it's going to just be perfect like what you want. So that's it. Now you have all the basics to do a grip pencil illustration. I hope you learned something useful today. I hope that my explanation was good enough, that I was clear on everything that I explained, and that you will not have any problems to do it yourself. And I will also link in the description some of the videos that I watched to learn this. And yeah, enjoy and see you next time.